The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Why you hating on the song, though?
Hey,
welcome
to
out,
Sports Collective TV.
Here. What? I've been here.
Okay.
Welcome.
You here?
I live here.
Can
I do the intro?
Yeah, I'm chilling. Not yet. We're trying to see if everybody here. You here?
Oh, straight up, I'm here.
I'm happy to be here. We're just warming the mics now. Go ahead, baby boy.
Take us in, Ferran.
Welcome to Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator. I'm Ferran, aka WDC. I want to thank you for listening in. As you can tell, the deck is always loaded here. If you have anything you want to talk about, hit us up 323-293-3375. We got a full show for you today. We got some interviews. We got an 8-time Olympian. 8 times. See those muscles over there? Don't count. We're going first.
I got muscles in my teeth right now.
That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
You flexing.
All right.
All right, but we're going to have, again, a spectacular show for you. Make sure you go to our social media, Sports Collective Media on Instagram, Facebook, like the page. Any comments, hit us up. We'll get to them and I'll respond to you. But what's up, man? We got
a packed show today. We have a lot of stuff going on in sports, and like we always do, we keep it community based. We have a Ride-On Co-op coming in, which is a bike shop right here down the street, right across the street.
Address. No address?
We're going to get the address when the interview comes.
Yeah, we got to say it for the viewers.
That's that marketing. That's that marketing guy.
Yeah, because they don't know what down the street is.
We're in Leimert Park Village.
Jeez.
We're in Leimert Park Village.
I'm helping.
Historical black community.
Y'all lucky I go to church on between Thursday to Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the devil on Monday and Tuesday.
Why can't I ever get through my intro? I never could get through my intro.
5 months and no intro.
If you would have took the hat off.
I'm taming the mane today.
Okay.
Taming the mane.
All right. For the girls out there, I told him to take the hat off. I know
today,
when y'all be inboxing us about that.
You can zoom in on this right here.
Okay.
All right, cool. So if you want to follow me at Instagram, omoreno_1989.
Boom.
Pass it on.
Oh, come on, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Al and Fredo. They couldn't be here today. They actually shot me out last week because I couldn't make it. So here I am, with these guys over here.
These guys.
My name is LaRon Pierce, a.k.a. the Lyrical Renegade. I used to be known as the Executioner. passionate, but so y'all can follow me on everywhere.
You got flow, boy.
Can you finish?
Go ahead.
Can I finish?
Yes, you can.
As I was
Yes, you
saying,
can.
y'all can follow me on Instagram, LaRon Pierce, LaronPierce. I'm everywhere. You can Google me as well. You can find everything on me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, see, this show was created for the sports fan. So we know you watch your ESPN, whatever you watch, First Take. But where can you walk in a sports show and talk and banter about your favorite team? So, man, you
Nowhere.
are one of the reasons why we created this show, to come here and talk about your sports teams, man. So,
You know what, man? Like, I am a fan of Patriots, but I've been really watching sports.
got some
see,
water.
this is the mistake that we make sometimes.
Hold up.
So we could cut his mic now.
I need some water. Some water, please.
All right, so you Patriots fan, but
But, I haven't really, watched football like I was supposed to.
okay, okay.
You didn't watch last night's game?
Cable wasn't working.
I was
so.
told, okay, here's the thing. I'm a wrestling guy, all right? I watch wrestling for God's sakes. Come on, man. Sheesh.
Okay, well, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, we'll get back to that wrestling thing right there.
And your wrestling fans out
Mr.
there.
But I
Excited.
do know that I've heard that the LA Rams are undefeated, 6-0.
Yes, sir.
He already
That's
want
what
to
I
go
heard.
there.
Like, I don't know if that's true or not. I just
Yeah,
found
it's-
that out.
It's Super Bowl bound.
So
with
it's true.
social media and all that. So
It's true. And
They're not the only team in the league. So anyway, they're doing wonderful though. West Coast is the best coast. That's what I always say. Now, to your problem in the building, Cali sportsman, the constant problem. So
constant.
But we built this show to be able to have things like people chasing hoop dreams, bringing I want to shout out to which is Butch Dennis.
Yes.
The church man, the religious, the Mr. Buff, Mr. Man. Since I've been getting buff, you know what I'm saying, as y'all notice. So a lot of people been looking at me lately. And
He does not pass an opportunity to talk about that, right?
Nah, this transformation thing.
I'm surprised you got your shirt on right now.
Well, it's a medium. I wanted to make sure, everything works. You know what I mean?
says it's true. Okay.
Yeah, you don't get me doing no push-ups right now, jumping jacks.
It's going to be hard flexing the whole show.
I get antsy.
Okay.
But anyway, chasing hoop dreams, bringing fitness, community affairs, and also talking about community affairs is that we have an event November 3rd, right?
That's right.
And basically looking at Morris Media, True Elite Performance coming together, being able to offer college preparation tools as well as vocational tools in broadcasting sports and what we do. So giving kids, some options out there. So November the 3rd, 9300 Crenshaw, Holy Lutheran Church. That's going to be from 10 till 3. But we go hang around and make sure that families and kids get the information they need in order to create a better future.
And if you want to come and learn about sickle cell trait, especially if you're a student athlete, come check us out that day. I'll be speaking as well, talking about sickle cell trait, community issues, and things like that.
So and shout out to Sanat. This is their shirt, which is the African American Coalition,
right?
Which basically is another issue that's in the community relative to the immigrant issues. A lot of times we think of it just being Hispanic, but then there's a Latin, African American, African culture that's in the community too, to kind of have some of those same issues. So with the Department of Mental Health and her, we're coming together to try to be able to make a voice and be a megaphone in the community.
Right, fighting mental stigma. Like a lot of people are out there, they're suffering from depression, anxiety, and this environment we create, it's sometimes hard for them to even come out and talk about the things they're going through. Mm-hmm. Like when someone breaks their leg or something, we look at it, but when someone's going through some kind of mental illness, it's hard to see it, so sometimes people don't give credit for it.
And you know what, just to even put another spin on that, because we're going to be working on some things here, there's something specifically as a culture that we deal with as African Americans and mental illness and how we deal with those issues. So stay tuned to Morris Media Studios, because we're going to continue to talk about this problem and hopefully come up with some solutions and bring some professional people on this network that can be able to kind of help our community.
And just have a relatedness conversation. I think having relatedness talks helps people open up and share. There's power in sharing. So forget about understanding us, but if you could relate to us, that's enough.
Small business, give us a call. Morris Media Studios, 323-293-3375. Shout out to Brooklyn Deli, who's been, phenomenal partner here at Morris Media Studios, but they're closing because of the construction, but they're going to be doing catering. So I told him I'll give them a shout out. And my boy got the Brooklyn Deli sandwiches. They known right here in Leimert Park as one of the best sandwich shops in town.
They are good, though.
So if you're doing some big catering or something like that, and you want to, support black business, then great idea. If you got a business and you need some information on how to make that business get more exposure, give me a call. AskIlya.com, 424-789-0579, or just give us a call at the station, 323-293-3375.
So let's go right into, while we're here. So let's get back to you, Mr. I used to like the Patriots, but... Well,
I still do, but it is what it is, man.
It was a good game last night. That's probably Kansas City. I think that was kind of a tester game because they might end up playing each other in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it was a heck of a game. The thing what I got out of it is that Brady has always been so well protected. And that defense was getting at him last night. Yeah. But at the same token, Kansas City was behind, came back, made 2 good plays.
Got that touchdown, but as we were talking offline,
right.
You gave the man too much time.
Exactly.
Too much time on the clock for Brady.
Right. Patrick Mahomes had a 75-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, but you leave time on the clock for Brady, he gonna come back and score a field goal. He won 2 Super Bowls that way, Can't leave no time.
Can't leave him or Big Ben any time on the clock.
But before that, there was a very crucial play where Brady had ran in for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. One of the defensive players actually had him wrapped, but based on the rules of this year, you know how now they're protecting the quarterback a lot.
Right.
So he let go of Brady thinking he already threw the pass.
Oh, is that why he let him go?
Yeah, exactly, because he didn't want to get a flag. So that allowed Brady to run in. But if he was still in that mindset, let me take him down. But nowadays, defensive players are very hesitant.
What was the game? The whistle was blown, and they scored the touchdown. Did you?
Which one?
So many games yesterday. It was a game where they had. I think it was it's a Chargers game. They had blew the whistle and he threw it in the end zone. He caught it. It was a. But
and they let it go.
And they let it go. Well, it's favored to the catcher, so the offensive catcher. So, but the referees been missing a lot of stuff.
They've been making bad calls.
Is the game getting soft?
That's why I stopped watching sports, because they be making bad calls.
You can't really blame it all on the refs.
Hey, but your boy Vince McMahon's trying to bring back XFL, right?
I don't know about that.
That's what I heard.
Because I heard they actually already rebranded it too, because they had it back in 2001 and then they shut it down and now they're bringing it back. So I don't know why.
It's something to compare because a lot of people are saying, like what Ferran said, that the league's getting soft.
Yeah.
So to have a league where, like you said, you go extreme and you allow more contact, more aggressiveness.
That's what people want to see.
It's going to be just like another MMA scenario for boxing, but it's be for football, because these guys are fed up. You got to mind you, they get fines, on all these plays that are kind of like, you moving. When you moving, some of them could be intentional,
slow that weight
but
down.
some, like these hits on the quarterback. Yeah. You in motion. You in motion, but some of them are kind of unfair though.
So you mentioned you a WWE. Wrestling kind of
not
guy.
just WWE, Impact
but
Wrestling.
Is that entertainment like the rest of these sports? Do you believe that's?
But what's Impact Wrestling?
Impact Wrestling used to be TNA, Total Nonstop Action, and they changed the Impact because of the lawsuits, and they were going through like owner changes and stuff like that, and they had to rebrand themselves.
So these guys talking about the costume making and all that. So let me ask you this, because that's always the question. People say it's fake.
Yeah, it's fake. That's where I was leading the witness to.
I wouldn't say fake.
I would say I don't know how fake it is when your body's in the air floating, because you got to hit somewhere.
They train for that.
They're actually professional wrestling schools are doing that. Like they were trained to do stuff like that, but not like
airbound.
No,
at some point, that take a toll.
Those are real. Like, there's no string attaches and nothing like that. But the only thing that's really fake about it is, like, sometimes, like, WWE, they have, like, script writing. And that's pretty much with all the gimmicks and all the other cutting promos and talking about other people while they're actually real friends in real life. That's pretty much what the problem was. And then they started taking Instagram pictures together and all that. That kind of looks like fake. But all the wrestling, it is entertainment. But at the same time,
so what's the money behind it? Billions.
Oh,
As far as like advertisement, just like bringing a lot of people to
like UFC.
yeah.
Well, didn't they just sign a huge deal in Saudi Arabia?
But
WWE?
UFC didn't make their
Yeah,
money until
but-
like 6 years ago.
Like a 10-year, 100 million something
Yeah,
deal.
but they're trying to cancel this one, which is called Crown Jewel, and I think if they're trying to make it, they're trying to make it exceptional, but I guess if Donald Trump has to say so,
Oh, it's
Then
going to
if-
be in his hands?
well, that's what I'm reading. I don't know if none of this is true because you know how.
Well, the prince
you know
just
how
has to
the-
put some money in his bag and he'll have the
right,
show.
right. Because they did the greatest Royal Rumble like April after WrestleMania, but like
So who's your top 5 guys in wrestling?
right now of all time.
Like Jerry the King Lawler, I could go back there.
The Rock,
Roddy
the Rock,
Piper.
the Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
You know, so I used to watch that
a
in
legend.
Memphis when I was a little kid.
Tennessee.
Well, he's good on the commentary.
Superfly
too,
Snuck,
so.
yeah.
Mine is okay. The Undertaker's mine first and foremost. Like he inspired me in my whole music career, and just a lot of like stuff that I've gone through. Like his character, is pretty much like I don't know. how I would
Your
say
alter
it.
ego.
Well, I wouldn't say all that. Like, it's because his character really inspired me a lot, and it's just like it can go like a lot of ways of my music, like because I've been in
Because
a
you
dark
do have
place.
a dark side. I've listened to some of your music.
Yeah,
you
you
guys
seen-
this dark,
Oh, yeah.
that dark beat.
Don't
He
let
got
the
a-
smooth face
yeah.
fool you, yo.
The boy got a dark beat till I was in the dark, and I was like, "This is," and it was
In case
sound.
y'all didn't know, I'm a rapper as well. Come on.
Okay, all right,
But,
okay.
yeah,
Can I
so-
get 16 bars? What's happening?
Well, let me finish first.
All right, hey, you talking about you a rapper?
He just getting warmed
trying
up.
to get you famous.
He just
Hey,
getting warmed up.
Hey, go and get this
Nah, but I'm
contract
saying,
signed. Got
so,
a pen?
like-
Got a pen?
Okay, I don't know
All right,
about
go
that,
ahead,
but
go ahead. Let's go.
yeah, Undertaker's my favorite one because he inspired me in my whole life. I've just been in the dark places and just stuff like that. And
All
that's
right.
just why
So,
he's-
Undertaker, who's next?
A Rock, of course.
Why him?
Is The Rock.
Well,
He crossed over.
not
Yeah,
just in
didn't
movies.
didn't he sell out a little bit?
Kind of.
There we go.
But-
I just wanted to see if we get some admission out.
And his Mike Charisma.
It's how he just cut promos and just how he wrestles. That's all. He just talking a lot of trash.
Because he was originally a football player, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Most of
thankful
these
that he
wrestlers were
didn't.
football players, and then they turned to wrestling.
Just
Thankful
didn't
he
make
got
it.
cut.
Just
He
didn't make
thankful he got cut. All right, number 3.
Number 3 will be. Everybody loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh,
Yeah.
Austin 316 said, "Whoop your ass." That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, number 4.
And number 4 is Kane. The big red machine, Undertaker's a little brother.
Yeah, I got cable. I know everybody he talking about.
And now he's the mayor of Tennessee.
I got
How
DirecTV.
the- this
Oh, that
bottom.
is true, right?
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Kane
All
did
right,
become the
so WW, well, I'll just say wrestling. We talked about football. Basketball. Who's your basketball team?
I kind of hopped around when I was younger, but because
You
it was
still
the
young.
Well, it was because it was the Lakers when I was a kid because
Okay.
I was a Shaq fan.
Okay.
But then I crossed over to Cleveland Cavaliers a little bit because I was a fan of LeBron at the time.
At the time.
So you back to being a Laker fan now? That he's back?
No,
Thank you for that soundbite.
Can you even dribble a basketball? Can you play hoop? You got
used
that
to play
lint. You
basketball.
got the lint. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at you got the.
I was good
stretchable.
at defense though.
Okay.
I was really good at defense.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
So
But,
you and bounced around the basketball, but we never. So you a Clipper fan? I mean, where we at?
Well,
Ooh.
wait. Okay, let me
Yeah,
let me
slow
let me
down.
put out this thing.
I want you to make it
I'm
home.
a fan of
Explain.
two teams.
All right.
Miami Heat and Clippers. Those are only my main 2 teams.
But you gotta
If
say
Clippers
about
didn't win, then I would vote for Heat.
He must be a Jimmy Butler fan because those are the 2 teams he's trying to go to too.
Is that why?
Yeah.
You saw the head nod?
He a Jimmy Butler fan.
kind of, but not really. But it's just more of like, because at the time, because I'm like a D Wade, LeBron James, a Chris Bosh fan.
Okay.
At that time, and then also
Man, they gotta
I
chip.
like because all this time I've been liking the Clippers. But then when they had Chris Paul, because Chris Paul was supposed to be on the Lakers, and then he
Yeah,
came
that
for
deal
the
got-
Clippers. But,
NBA stopped that.
But yeah,
So you're a fan of players, not the jerseys.
It's kind of like a both.
All right.
But
Hockey?
my main favorite character of all time is Shaq.
You got a hockey team?
We got to go baseball because
Wait, let me get the hockey. You got a hockey team?
That's what I'm saying.
Not really.
I'm
but
just asking. There's a lot of Kings fans.
He's a Clipper fan, so how you gonna have a
If
hockey
you like the
team?
Ducks,
He gonna like the Ducks.
you like the Ducks.
I like the Kings. I mean, I've been watching little games where
You got the colors on, yeah. You good for the Kings, both of y'all.
And I won't knock a hockey environment. If you ever go to a live game, it's probably one of the best sporting environments ever.
Did we get
Right?
it?
I won't knock on hockey.
I took my boy to his first game. And
Man, it gets rowdy.
Good
Those hockey
Kings
fans
game.
get rowdy.
It was a
First
Champions
Kings
League.
game.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
It was a playoffs, but they was gonna go to the chip.
Right.
That was game 7, game 5. Yeah, it's all on social media. We did it. Yeah.
All right, so baseball.
baseball. As a kid, it used to be.
Don't be reaching.
He reaching. He said as a kid. Come
As
on.
a
Always
kid-
go back as a kid.
Okay,
He gotta give us a summary.
Well, at the time, because I don't really watch baseball like I used to, but it was on the Angels at one point.
All right, we can live with that.
geez.
All right.
Oh, child.
First a Clipper fan, now an Angel fan.
So we
That
don't-
go together. Maybe like the color red. I don't know. Maybe that could.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
Nah,
Maybe
I like the color blue. So
But
that's my
before
favorite
we
color,
get before
but,
we get this first breakout, you want to say anything about your Raiders?
Raiders. There's not much to say.
You know what? It's a cold piece. For all my folks in the Bay, you know I'm a Raider fan. As y'all know, Raider fans win or lose, we just die hearts regardless. You know what I'm saying? We about as equivalent. Hold on, slow down. You had your moment. We are about as equivalent. We about as equivalent to a Laker fan in LA. We about as equivalent to a Green Bay fan, and we about almost equivalent to a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Almost.
You know what I'm saying? And you Patriot fan. So it's like, you know, everybody got, and I give the Cowboys, you know, they got their little hub of folks, you know, everybody got their little nation.
Of course.
Right? I'm by default. I don't know no better.
We
You know
know
what
you
I'm
don't
saying?
know no better. We
You know,
trying to
I
help
couldn't
you.
go over to San Francisco and be no
No.
49er fan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even like San Francisco.
All right, let's let the guests.
Anyway, but
got
so
something
hold
to
on.
say about
Guests
your-
gotta wait because the Raiders suck.
We understand that.
All right.
He's got something to say.
Well, I just want to say this, like, what did Ice Cube say? Just win, baby?
Just win.
Hey, win.
Just score first.
He
Just
said
score.
that after Al Davis said that.
All
So
right.
there you go.
I feel
got?
bad for the London fans because imagine this was the first football game you came out to see. You had to see the Raiders play like they did. You know, I would have asked for a refund, honestly.
Can I
He'd
get
just be a Rams fan by default. If they didn't have no stadium being built here, y'all be over here watching USC, UCLA. So stop it.
You're
Can I get a 20-second timeout? We're
And USC could probably beat the Raiders at this point.
gonna take this first break.
At least you said the
We're
right
gonna bring
school.
up our guest, the 8-time Linda Murray Olympic. You
Yeah,
ready to
I'm
see these
ready.
muscles?
Yeah, she got
You ready?
Some
All right, so we're gonna take this first break.
Let me do
We'll be
some
right
push-ups
back.
real
Social
quick.
media, Sports Collective,
The
media,
Consortium
shouts
of
out.
Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
Just got on.
Welcome back to Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator, Farhan, aka WDC. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at IamWDC. Again, you know, this show is for our community, for our fan base, but also we could not leave out how important this fitness is. Everybody's working out, getting in shape, and you know all these aspects of health and wellness. So we were blessed to be introduced to Mother Fitness here, and so she's going to introduce her guests, and we're going to have this dialogue about these practice?
Bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding,
That's
Olympian.
right.
Which is very close to my heart. So let me say, without further ado, Linda Murray. I can say so much about her, and you know I can ramble on and on and on, but I'm going to let her talk about herself. It gives me so much pleasure.
Thank God.
And I am so thankful that she agreed to do this interview with us. She is a legend. She is iconic. She's an 8-time Miss Olympia. She is, by without a doubt, the greatest female bodybuilder out there to date. And when I first became interested in bodybuilding and then further on competing, she was always my idol. I loved her. Speaking of girl crushes, she's definitely mine. I mean, I just love her. She has no idea how deep my love for her runs.
Y'all just want to hug.
But-
And, you know what I'm saying?
We did that already.
Exchange phone numbers later.
We did that. So without further ado, I'm going to let her speak on her because we could be talking. She has a lot to say. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Linda.
You're turning over to me,
Welcome.
Gwen. Thank you. Oh, that was
welcome.
precious. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
We appreciate you for coming out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
Look at
Hit him with a muscle. That's all you got here.
Hit him with a muscle.
So introduce yourself, and then I will kind of guide the conversation.
Yep.
I look like mine.
That's the real deal.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's the real
Let me
deal.
pump mine up. Hold on.
Flex up on him. This is the real deal
Let me
here.
pump mine up. It's working.
I got 75 cents for the air. Don't worry about it.
Right?
So, Linda, introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Well, let's see. Competed in body. I've been competing for. Well, I'm retired now.
Okay.
But for people that are not familiar with bodybuilding, the Miss Olympia. I won the Miss Olympia 8 times. And that's the same competition that Arnold Schwarzenegger. He won the Mr. Olympia 7 times. I have one more Olympia than he does. So
Boom.
that's the best way to describe, the sport.
So who was Linda growing up as a young little girl?
Oh, wow.
Let's go
You
back.
know what? Actually, bodybuilding found me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Detroit, Michigan. You can see Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Detroit,
an athlete, ran track in high school.
Okay.
A cheerleader, collegiate cheerleader at Western Michigan University. I graduated from Western Michigan. I was a USFL cheerleader. First, you guys know the USFL,
I
right?
remember that.
Michigan
That's the-
Panthers,
Wow.
2 years, 1983 and 1984. So we won the first USFL championships. My goal, I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. So I love football. I
Yeah.
love cheerleading. That's my first love.
Okay.
And I just happened to have the genetics and the physique to be a bodybuilder. So
So who
bodybuilding found me.
inspired you to start bodybuilding?
Carla Dunlap.
Uh-huh.
She was the first African American female bodybuilder that I saw on stage.
Okay.
And I think she placed second the first time, but then she actually won the Miss Olympia. So she was.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was the first African American to win the Olympia.
Right.
And then,
And then you came
then
along
I
and
showed
just-
up years later, so she inspired me.
When you say the years later part, so, just getting myself physically fit and transforming I learned a lot probably in the last 2 weeks in regards to just to initially start working out is that you got to have endurance, you got to have flexibility, coordination. You can't just be doing certain things and because you're not going to really get the results you're looking for. So that's kind of like my question is like, to get to the Olympian stage,
Right,
like you said, it was like
right.
years later. So I'm dealing with just a 3-4 day mental side. It's the mental part of it has been probably the biggest challenge because you're trying to get to a task and you start the task normally with, well, I'll just do 10. When you really know you need to do 30, right?
Yeah.
So now my mental is like, I'll do 50, and if I get to 30, I'll get to
doing
50.
good.
So it's like the whole transition from that point, and I can only imagine then there's another transformation when you're just competing. So take us back when you're just working out, trying to get that body,
The mindset.
the mindset.
Yeah.
Preparing for it.
Yeah, preparing. Yeah, the mind, I always tell people that how important mindset is. You know, I mean, you look at an athlete and you see them working and doing the work, but the reality is, if you don't have a strong mind, really, you're going to fail. You know, and that's why when you look at these great athletes, you see them the last minute because their mind is so strong. That's the difference between, you know,
a fan,
Monday morning quarterback, or you know. But I think that, you know, during the times when I was training for the Olympia, I had to really, you know, I did a lot of meditating, and as far as the people that I surround myself with, you have to really watch that.
That's
really?
right.
You really
say more about that.
Yeah,
you really do. Because most people, you know, a lot of times they can be talk, and then sometimes it can
be toxic.
Yeah, very toxic. And so when you say that you're going to do something that's outside the box, like I know for me, it was challenging back in the mid-'80s for a woman to decide that she wanted muscle.
Yeah.
You know, even today it's challenging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had to.
With the whole feminist deal, though, and that fact that the competition is considered co-ed, was there
She's
still
talking about 80s, though.
But it was still a stigma?
Oh, God, in the 80s, it was extremely challenging.
Yeah.
It was extremely challenging. You know, my
because it was really challenging your femininity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it was just weird for me. I mean, I'm from the Midwest. You know, I'm not born and raised in L.A. or in New York, where you guys, like, are independent thinkers, and you're this Hollywood, and you're used to different stuff. I was in the Midwest, the Motor City. I stood out, and it was like, what are you doing? My mom and dad were like, you have your college degree. What you working at? Why are you leaving your job to be a personal trainer?
And what did you say?
And you know what? At the time, I didn't even really know why. It was just like an instinct. It was a calling, and it was just. Being an athlete in college for 4 years, and then, you know, me having this goal and saying, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. And again, that was something strange. I actually did it.
But listening to the story, that's the core of it.
Yes.
Is that you just had your own ideas, and you wasn't letting no one control those opportunities. You know, even with your parents. Even though you may didn't know what the outcome was, the fact is that you said, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
But if you went back and you mentioned all the sports you played before, so you had to have some kind of mental toughness
and discipline
as a teenager, as a young woman. So did all that? You have to put all those pieces together to get to these Olympian competitions.
And I think because you enjoyed athletics, the cheerleading, you know, loving sports, so you found something that you could gravitate to.
Yes,
that you did an excellent job. You were really iconic for women because I do understand how challenging it was. You were already bodybuilding way before I did. Not that, you know, you had a jump on it. I just kind of woke up one day and decided this is something that I wanted to do. No, I actually went to a competition and saw Linda, so that kind of sealed the deal for me because I knew hard work. It required a lot of hard work, and what she's saying is a lot. You have to surround your people. People that surround you have to be like-minded because you have so many different elements. One being a female, people can say, you know, women don't need to be that muscular. You look like a man. It's certain things that you had to endure, so you had to keep your mind a certain kind of way. Because this is what I wanted to do.
Let me ask you this, because you guys come with a lot of other pieces because you're women. So you got, I don't know if kids or marriage or relationship and all that comes to play. Because, you know, having a wife, and I'm always hearing, you know, I'm in the box. I mean, I'm tired of being a husband. Wife. I'm tired of being the mother. I'm tired. You know, and then you got your own personal goals, your own personal ideas. How did that play for us family, though, for both of you guys?
It was difficult. At the time when I really ventured into bodybuilding, I was married and I had a daughter that was young. She was probably around 9 years old when I got into bodybuilding. But first I started dabbling with, the interesting thing was, I had that stigma in my brain that muscular women, it was kind of manly. That's where I started. Okay, so I was all into the whole fitness regime thing because fitness was out then. You know, I was doing the Miss Fitness competitions, all this and that. All right, well, you know, that part flipping and splitting, you know, after a while you have a lot of injuries. So that kind of scales you back. then again, I went to see a competition that Linda was in, and that when I saw how she maintained her beauty, she had class, she had style, she just looked beautiful up there compared to others that you may see. And I'm not trying to disrespect any of my bodybuilding sisters.
Of course not.
But it was very important that we maintain a certain aesthetic to let you know that women can be beautiful with muscle.
Well, let me ask you
women
this.
can maintain their beauty.
So how about you? What was going on in life when you started this competition?
Yeah, I agree with Gwen that that was challenging for me, and I think that what helped me to transition into it is because I had the cheerleading. Well, the foundation as far as being an athlete, but a cheerleader, and cheerleaders are like rah-rah, and our hair, we have our hair, our
so you
makeup,
already had that
clothes,
The glamour.
So I had that.
The glamorous
I had that
look,
glamour part, and then especially when you transition into professional cheerleading, that's really what it's all about. It's like sexy, so then I was able to transition, but it was really challenging for me because as I got closer to the competition, and a lot of what we do is it's more of like your diet. Like people think it's
that's where I was getting ready to lead
diet, and to get where you're that low in body fat. I was starting to it was challenging to look in the mirror.
Really?
Yeah, because your face, you get really lean. People don't understand that when they look at female bodybuilders or they look at men too. Because men and women, the transition is the same, but women, we're judged more. We're judged harsher. Look at her, she looks like a man. Where the men, their face is transforming as well too.
I've never been to a competition. I've promoted a couple of them, but what is the list of criteria? Because I think I was watching something about the white couple that died in Hollywood. That was the fitness guy, and then she was a real famous.
I know who you're talking about.
Fitness and bodybuilder, right? But what are you guys being judged on? Because you talked about the whole fitness side, and I think she was known because she could flip, and she was she had that side. But then there's the body look, and then what are all the pieces?
Well, they're looking at. When it comes to women, we are definitely judged differently. But they want symmetry. You can't be like, the guy with the little skinny legs and the big upper body.
You got to all match.
You got to match.
Yeah, it's all got to match.
So that's important, symmetry. And usually, with symmetry comes a small waistline. That's really important on women. But so they look at the muscularity, and they also look at as far as how lean you are. So you have to do your diet.
The lean, they want to see the lean.
You have to see the muscle.
Are you symmetrically balanced?
Right.
So the lean means that they can actually physically see the muscle.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're not always walking around with a six-pack.
You
know what I'm saying? Some people doing this, that's rare.
That's not normal, right?
That's not normal.
Exactly.
Social media, y'all be
so is that almost equivalent to when we had the MMA guy was on and he had to said he spit just to hit weight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just...
that's the whole nother get down there. Their thing is a little different. And then also categories. You have different levels of competitors.
Is it weight, height?
Linda is speaking of bodybuilding. When you were asking about the other person, she was in fitness.
Fitness.
Where they
different categories.
But exactly. They're doing something totally different. Even though, symmetry, size, leanness is important to them. But bodybuilding is also judged on, your size even. Because women, some women bodybuilders have gotten to, big proportions.
Well, look at it is it African American women that you're competing against? Because I would imagine the symmetry would all be the same.
No, it's not.
No,
that's not true.
I was trying.
You compete with all, ethnicities.
I gotta touch this before we get out of here because it's gonna be impactful for him as well. The diet, you mentioned diet, right? So how important is that diet? Hydration, I know hydration is probably key, but mentally, how do you this is what I'm eating and this is what I can eat? And
the diet is crazy hard, tough. It took me 4 years before I actually learned how to diet.
You good, yo.
It took me 4 years. Because our diet is about balance and it's about maintaining muscle and and losing body fat.
All at the same time.
So it's not right.
That's right. Exactly.
And
that's the
challenge.
tricky
it's
part.
It's like an art.
Yeah.
You know?
That's where
all at
I'm
the same
at.
time.
Then, you know,
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at.
Stuff to you too.
That's where I'm at. I mean, and it's tough. The diet is a tough part.
I know. That's why she had a picture of holding the fruits and vegetables in one of the photos. Yeah, I saw it.
So, you know, and I want to ask, because you know what? It's like everybody you talk to got something different in regards to how the diet's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I've literally took meat out for the last 3 weeks just to get the lean part. But I'm doing everything fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables smoothies, but you know what?
It's back to the vegan, vegetarian thingy.
Right.
Well, just as a start, as a cleanse, and then I understand you can eat tuna, then you can eat seafood, and then I'm like, well, you know, what's right?
Yeah, see, we couldn't have fruit on our diet, and we could no fruit and veggies, green veggies, but no fruit. I mean, you
chemical
can.
balance.
That's what I was thinking.
But
So
this is all a scientific
like a
science. So you got to go to
So
science.
is it because of the acidity in the fruit,
No, well, it's just
or
that
is it just too sweet,
it's,
too
simple
sugar?
carb. That would be like our candy bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if we're cheating, we can have because our carbohydrates is basically like you're limited to probably during that time 100 grams of carbohydrates per day.
So what is
that's
that
if
as
you're
menu
lucky.
wise?
That's if you're lucky.
That's
What
if
does
you're
that? What does
lucky.
that mean in menu wise?
And menu wise, that means that in the morning, your first carbohydrate, which is a starchy carbohydrate, would be like, let's say it's oatmeal. So that's already 50 to 60 grams of carbs. So you only got 40 more to go.
Yeah, right.
Banana,
40 more?
You only got 40 more to go
Jeez.
for the entire day.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
you
why
have
I'm
to,
fasting
and that's
half of the
also
day.
including like veggies, as far as like the veggies are pretty cool, but like if you get corn that's like high in carbs, so that's not on the diet.
Corn, you don't even look
Carrots
at that.
are high in carbohydrates too.
So what do you eat today?
So
Where
what
you
do
at
I do?
today?
Oh, today I'm enjoying my life.
I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life.
I'm doing it up.
What do you eat today?
You had a popsicle
today,
or something?
Yeah, today. Today I try to watch the carbohydrates because I know how important that is. So I would say the recommended daily allowance is like 300, which is a lot per day, which most people do 300. They
And
really
plus
do
some.
easy and plus some.
Yeah.
And plus some. So I try to always I try to keep it at 200.
So what is that
But it's
menu wise?
challenging.
Yeah, so what is that? Tell us the
Oh,
menu.
numbers.
They just
We're
want to
looking
get
for
started.
food.
Okay.
Y'all looking for food.
Okay.
What do you
Okay.
eat?
Like from
Because I've been
breakfast,
stuck.
man.
I've been
Take us
stuck.
out with the food menu.
I
We
just
gonna
been
get out of
fasting between 12 and 6.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
he's
just going to
fat.
drink water. I don't know
He's-
what to eat.
he's-
So,
don't worry about it.
anyway.
You know what? I think one of the best diets is high protein, and the reason I say that, in a sense, of course, if you're like a vegan or that's a turn off.
Yeah.
But it's the diet where it's tasty. So like if you're a person that's going from eating like McDonald's and let's say, or just eating spaghetti or regular, if you go to a person and say, okay, when you eat, you want to eat and be satisfied first of all. So no matter what you eat. Once you start to feel like you want to take a nap, you've eaten too many
much.
calories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's number one. And then number two is you want to have a balanced diet where when you look at your plate, there's a protein, which is the size of, like for a female or guy, size of a deck of cards, the thickness and the size. So you probably, that's not enough, right?
That ain't enough.
And then your carbohydrate, your starchy or complex carbohydrate, which falls in, you want it to be a natural carb. So like pasta, there's no pasta growing out of the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's a natural carb?
So a natural carb, brown rice or,
Sweet potato.
but sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah, I've been on
I
sweet
could do-
potatoes.
I could do-
I've been on
Right.
sweet
And
potatoes.
then something green. So now you're looking at a
Spinach. I've been eating
protein,
spinach.
a complex
Yeah,
carb, and a
And a
green
green.
something. A lot of people, when you add the
No,
bread
what's-
and you have the juice, now you got 3 carbs there.
So what's
juice? You
what's
see
the
what I mean?
what's the protein? Is it a meat?
Yeah, the
Yes.
protein, it could be beef,
Chicken.
fish, chicken.
See, this is not vegan
egg
stuff.
whites.
This is not
eggs.
vegan stuff.
I
These-
get it. I'm
these are people that
just educating
still eating
myself.
meat.
They hear. Jeez.
Linda, we want to thank you for being on the show. We're gonna. Oh, you got one more thing?
One more
okay,
question.
one more question.
Okay,
I have a question,
actually had.
too.
Okay,
we
you
got
had a
we got
question
another
too.
guest.
All right, let me bring this out there because I'm sure some of you guys are probably wondering where is female bodybuilding going?
Oh yeah.
Where do you see this going?
Yeah, where do I see female
Because
bodybuilding going?
we're a falling breed now. We're
Yeah.
falling.
I got a few bucks. Y'all want to put something together?
Let her answer the question.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
I'm
God.
an investor. So
And we have a lot of fans out there. We
Yeah.
really do.
let's go.
Well, I'm really excited. The company that I work for, they're supporting women bodybuilding like crazy. And actually, this past in Phoenix, we had the Rising Phoenix. In first place, walked away with $150,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
so
that was
they are
huge.
making
Yeah.
more money.
That's not a-
yeah,
that's
Because that's a lot of
I
money
work
for
a
females.
great
Not a bad
purse.
purse.
Exactly.
And she had a Corvette. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was the prize.
Wow.
So Linda has been a great ambassador for women's bodybuilding because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be at where we are
Yeah.
right now. Otherwise, we just would have went right on under the curve, you know.
So I'm trying to hang in there and really support the women. That's why I'm here, is to just try to bring the women together. Because sometimes we can be like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
we
I
need
mean?
to
And not
stop
help.
that. Yeah,
And,
exactly.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
You know, so we can all just come together and play
That would be
nice in the
nice,
sandbox, ladies. And reach out
So is
and
it-
ask questions.
Is it somewhere they can go and reach out?
Give them your information.
Yeah. Well, reach out to me on Instagram, or you can call reach out to me at missolympia8@msn.com. And I'm really into my social media. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I respond. So email me, missolympia8@msn.com. That's MSOlympia, OLYMPIA, the number 8 at MSN.com.
She went to college.
And Linda also has her own show, so reach out to her and get the information. You can compete in her
Yes,
shows. She has a
yes.
pro show and an pro-am.
Yep,
We're
July
gonna
13th.
we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna leave you two here. Me and Il are gonna step off Cali Sportsman. We're gonna bring up Oscar and his guest. So Sports Collective TV right here on Morris Media every Monday. Shout us out. What's the count? We'll be right back.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
All right, welcome back to Sports Collective TV. Obviously, I'm Oscar. I have a guest here, local. So we're taking our local piece. You already know that we're always based on community-based. Tell us more about Ride On Co-op and what it's about and what impact they're doing in the community.
So Ride On Bike Shop and Co-op is a bicycle shop in Leimert Park, right on Degden Boulevard, and we are a worker-on co-op. So meaning that the folks that work there actually own a piece of the business. And we've been doing like all kinds of work. So we repair, sell, and rent bicycles, but we also do bike education, teaching people how to ride safely in the streets. Our next one is coming up in a couple of weeks, where we actually take people out, teach them the skills to be on a bike, to the skills to ride with traffic, and then we take them out on a ride after that as well.
And for someone that grew up, I know the culture of just bicycling has changed, like from when I was a kid to now. I remember all you saw was like the little short bikes with the, the dualies and the low riders. But where is it now? Like I own a fixie, so like that's something I use as an alternative method of transportation. But where is the culture going, or where is it at now? Where is it going?
Well, it's really going to electric bicycles. I think that's like really the future, like pedal assist bicycles. But right now in South LA, believe it or not, we have some of the oldest bicycle clubs in the country, I would say. We have the Real Riders, which make their own custom bikes. They've been around for around 30 years. Major Motion, which have been like on road bikes with the kids, just riding, doing like 100 miles, that kind of ride. And they've been around for another 30 years, you know. And the Fixies are just like, you know, it's the new thing within the community, but you have a lot of the like BMX riders. We have also like some major world-class champions right here that came out of South LA that are traveling the world racing bicycles. So
tell us more about the co-op, because like that's one of the things that at least got me interested in what you're doing. You mentioned a little bit about the workers also being part owners, and I feel that's something that's a culture that's growing here in California. I think they just passed legislature where it's supporting more of these business to structure themselves around co-op. Right.
Yeah. For me, I wanted to. I kind of like believe that capitalism is dead and hasn't really worked, and also in saying that, I wanted to display something that I thought might work. So starting the co-op was like my contribution to that conversation. It's like, I think this is how we can move forward within the community to actually own stuff. And, you know, and it's also claiming space in Leimert Park. You know, it's like a lot of people are talking about gentrification, particularly with the rail line coming in and, you know, the rent and housing prices going up. It's like, how do we, like, we have to move it and claim space and, you know, and keep it black at the same time. And so for me, doing the co-op was one of the ways we could do that. And it's also something that the community needed. The nearest bike shop right now to us is probably like around at least 3 miles away.
Right.
And there's not a co-op, a bicycle co-op anywhere in South LA. And they're all over the city, actually, but not in South LA.
And that's one of the things that I feel always affects our communities, even though we want to be part of that culture. I also noticed that we don't have a lot of bike routes, right? And so you go to like Santa Monica, you go to South Bay, you see bike routes left and right. I see like bike routes here that just end out of nowhere.
Yeah, they start out of nowhere and they end out of nowhere.
Right. Where does it connect? Right.
Yeah, right.
So I'm glad that you're someone that's helping grow that culture.
Right.
How is it within the youth?
The youth are like a lot of youth like me. We're all on bikes, but you know, I think LA is a really interesting place because you get on a bike as a youth. You ride it everywhere you go because you don't have a car, you don't have a license to drive. But as soon as you hit that age, you forget the bike. Right. You try to get the car. But now we're moving into a particular point in the society where like there's no room for these cars out here no more.
Right.
Right. So it's like we're gonna have to go back to what works and what keeps you healthy.
Right.
You know, we were talking about health earlier, you know, like working out and stuff like that. I got on a bike because as a martial artist, I went back to school to get a master's degree. I didn't have the time to run around all over the place. I had a car accident and my car was getting ticketed because I didn't move it from one side of the street to the other. It was just kind of crazy. I was like, look, I can't deal with all this madness. I'm going to get on a bike that's going to limit what I do and how I do it. And before, when I had the car, it's like if something was going on in Long Beach, that's like 20, 30 minutes away, I can make it.
Right.
Now if something's going on in Long Beach, do I really need to be there? You know, it's like I really calculate and work out my time. And if I really want to get there, I can bike there.
Right. And
I can get there in like 45 minutes to an hour, you know. It's not
so you have to be very like managing your time very well.
Right.
And one of the biggest impacts too that I love is on the environment with everything going right now with climate change and all this carbon in the air. Going back to human power, like you were saying, when we didn't have our license, we would rely on our own energy to get ourselves around. But then as we grew, like you said, we rely on simpler transportations, which are more damaging. Right. So what other impacts is that having in the environment, at least within our community?
Right. So, you know, the toxins are like rising. And so one of the things that I think is really crucial for Los Angeles right now is, you know, the railways coming in, actually more bus lines coming in. And, you know, even in the future, I think somebody mentioned Uber and Lyft, right? But those things are actually going to be short-lived too. So it's like right now it's a side hustle for people to drive Uber and Lyft. But they're actually working on autonomous cars, right? So there's not going to be a driver. So you can't make your extra engine no more, right? Because the cars are going to be driving themselves.
Right.
You know? And that's going to be a whole different ball game as far as what's happening within, the society. And folks really need to get back on, like, focus on, like, health, right? How can I navigate around the city? Use public transportation, use bicycles. Now you can take your bike on the bus or the train. That couldn't happen before in LA. So that's something we fought for, and we're fighting for more bicycle lanes.
I want to open up to the rest of our panel. Do you have any questions?
No, I think that's a pretty admirable thing that you're doing, encouraging that, because that's encouraging fitness.
Right.
So from that, people are going to get more fit. So that's a good thing because, like when you go to other countries, let's say China's one and
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. That's what I was looking for. The people over there pretty much that's what they're doing is riding bikes.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of obesity there.
Right.
They're pretty lean because they got to go there. Their bike is the tool.
Yeah, you got to keep your body moving. It's like once it's moving, it stays moving. You stay loose. Things don't get stiff. You don't start getting this aching. It's like
absolutely. So I think that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And then also people always bring up, I don't got time sometimes to work out. But if your transportation is your workout, it's
just like for him.
Right.
Yeah. That works for him.
Yeah. At least you can get your legs strong. You can get your lungs up, and then, supplemented by doing, like upper body,
and it's fun.
Workout. Yeah, and it's fun.
You're not thinking about it being an exercise because you're engaging in something that you'll enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
We definitely need that in the black community.
Yeah.
More
Absolutely.
exercise.
You bike at all?
Yes, I love biking. Yeah. I did a whole lot of stationary biking.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, being from Detroit and, training.
Well,
but that's what out here, take advantage of this beautiful
Right.
weather.
That is
incredible.
the craziest thing, right? It's like this weather is the perfect weather, the perfect place to bike.
You're around at that.
I'm from Boston, and it's like you spend some money, you spend a couple $1,000s on a bike, you can only ride it a few times out of the year. There's like 3-4 months you can't ride it because the weather.
But here's year round.
Year round. It doesn't even rain. Hardly ever
You
rains.
see how the culture changed when you talked about Uber and Lyft, and I say that is that young people are more accessible to go with these types of transportations versus the bike because all the liabilities. So if you don't own a car, you don't have any liabilities. If you don't own a bike, you don't have any liabilities.
Right.
So there is that society that exists now. So it's to be a voice here to let people know that they can get back into cycling. Because cycling was dangerous, especially in the city of LA. People without the biking lanes, people was really getting harmed and hurt. And now, I don't know, I haven't been on an electric bike yet, but I'd imagine that would be a little crazy.
So I have a question. So my dad is here, and he used to tell me to ride against traffic so you could see.
Right.
So
there was a time within this country that was what they suggested folks do, and even the police department in some places would tell you to ride against traffic. That is not the safest way to ride a bicycle. The safest way to ride a bicycle is by following the traffic laws. So going with traffic. And when you're in the street, you actually want to be seen. So some drivers don't like it, but you want to be seen. So you want to take the full lane when you're driving and when you're riding a bike. And so you want to stay away from the parked cars because when people can open up the doors and clip you. Right. So you want to always be conscious of that, like how far you are from the parked cars and how far you are into in the lane. But definitely you want to be able to take the lane because people see you. If they're honking at you because they want you to move out the way, it's because they see you.
Right.
And the law in LA right now is to give 3 feet. So you pass a bicycle like you pass a car. You give them 3 feet, you pass them, you go, and then you take the lane again. So folks have to have and develop that sensibility. I think that's one of the things that we're working on right now in LA is getting people to develop the sensibility to be comfortable when people are on their bicycles in traffic with them.
I was in Ventura, and they had a sign on the street that said bikers go
Yeah.
explode the
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Right.
my dad said,
Do the opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's definitely
Back in the Sesame Street days.
yeah, but they've realized it's not because nobody's looking for you to come opposite
Correct.
traffic,
Yeah.
right? So if you're trying to make a turn or if they're coming out of a driveway, they're not looking for you to come in the opposite direction. So that's why it's dangerous. And it's also dangerous to be on the sidewalk.
Right.
I know a lot of people
Yeah.
do that. There's some cities like in Santa Monica, it's illegal to be on the sidewalk, so you'll get a ticket. But if you're on the sidewalk, drivers aren't looking for you to come off the sidewalk at the speed that you're coming off.
Yeah.
They're sensitive to pedestrians, but they're not gonna.
Then it wasn't as many cars.
This is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's
This
the
is
other
true.
thing too, right? There wasn't as many cars on the streets as there are today, right? But yeah, so you definitely want to stay off the sidewalks as well.
And like you had mentioned earlier, just the space it occupies. Like right now, LA is very populated, and more real estate is going and providing less parking space.
Right.
So like you go to some of these places in LA, you're probably taking 20, 30 minutes to find a parking.
Right.
And it's a lot easier. You could put it into your apartment. You could,
Yeah.
it's easier to put
It's-
it away.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
more convenient.
what do you recommend about bike safety? Because people still, you can lock it up, but they'll steal your tire.
Man, these folks out here will steal your hopes and dreams if they can.
Doggy dog world.
Like that is true. That is so true.
These people out here, you heard that?
But that's not just LA. That's just everywhere,
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, you want to certainly invest in a U-lock, and the more you spend on your bike, the more you actually want to spend on the lock, right? And there's locks out there that will guarantee. They have guarantees on the package. So, like, if you register the lock with the company, they'll say, well, if you register your bike and the lock, if the bike gets stolen while this lock is on there, we'll give you up to a certain amount of the value of your bike, But
Okay. That's
but
cool.
you also, so we do classes at the bicycle shop. So we're doing the third in a series in a couple of weeks. We just had to reschedule because of the rain, so I don't have the date as of yet. But we can definitely teach people all those things when they come by the shop.
And where could they find you? Like social media?
Social media is right on Bike Co-op on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And our website is right on bikeshop.com. And we're at 4319 Degnan Boulevard, right in Leimert Park, right next to the World Stage.
All right.
Okay.
All right, then. Well, there you have it. What a show today, right? We talked about bodybuilding. We talked about being fit. We talked about growing the culture of bicycling. All right, so once again, this is Sports Collective TV. See y'all next week. All right.
Peace.
The
All right, thank you,
Consortium of
guys.
Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.